Good afternoon and welcome back to the Mindful Model Makers Workshop. What I'm doing at the moment is finishing off a model which I started some time ago, which is the Metcalfe 00/HO service station. And what I do, I'm not putting this on a railway, it's just purely a diorama. And the reason for the diorama is for people that collect, say, these type of vehicles, which are the Oxford, which are very, very good. It's just really a backdrop for them. You can just do up the building as your diorama and put various cars. I've got this one here, which is a transit, and it's done up in the RAC services. You can, any kind of cars from the era that you like, you can put them on. So I've started to weather this garage. So in other words, when it comes as the car kit, it looks really nice. But I've decided to dirty it up a little bit. I've started to add things. There is these are 3D printed. It's a tyre rack. There's loads of things out there on the internet. So I just go on the internet and look up garage details, 00 scale, because obviously this is all in 00, so that's the size of everything. So you need the scale to go with it. These cars go very good with it. You've got the van, you can have it coming out. There's all sorts of bits and pieces. So I'll turn this round so that you can see the next stage of it. So at the front, you can see that I've darkened, and all I use for this is it's a Revell weathering kit. Comes in a box. There are 6 pots inside, different shades, and the best thing to do is get a little receptacle, a little. Sometimes use a lid. I use a lid of a spray can, something like that. Tip a little bit of the powder in the bottom, and you want to get yourself a very wide, very soft brush. To be quite honest, I mean, this is an art brush that I have here. I'll show you this brush there. It's very soft, and I put it in, and then I take the excess off and then go round and just gently rub. If you're not too sure to start with, then get a piece of card, because you get lots of pieces of card that are spare with these models where the bits are cut out from. Keep them and just practice on a piece of it until you get what you want. I've been doing a little bit of weathering on various things lately, so my confidence is building, because it will. You're scared stiff to start with, and sometimes it's best to just do an area, a little bit of an area, but not all of the area. Because if you look at things, that's when you're outside, look at roofs of things, and you'll see that certain areas are darker than others because of rainwater, whatever. I use lots of this little foamy stuff for, with some of these old buildings like that, you'll get a little bit of weed growing up somewhere on the building where, no one's really touched it for a long time. So it just fills in little gaps, or if there's perhaps a little gap between the baseboard and the wall. There isn't, but if there was, that's a way of just disguising it. I would probably put a little bit down in this corner. I've got the steps on the side now. There are 2 Ford Escorts in the showroom, so that's kind of showing them off. I put an oil drum there, which again is 3D printed. That one came ready painted, but you can just buy them. Normally they're grey, and you can just paint them yourself. It's just started. I've got lots of more detail to add to this. So this is it. What I done then is, this is the board that comes with it, the actual plate that it sits on. I then got a piece of A4 card, which I use for the card modelling, and I just used a black acrylic paint that you can buy like in the works, places like that, very cheaply, and I just literally painted that straight on the board. So that's going to be that. Now there is a canopy. I'm still working on the canopy, and we'll have the petrol pumps as well. So the canopy will kind of come down in this area here. So I could have another couple of cars waiting at the pumps, whatever. These two obviously are glued in there because I don't want them moving about if I move the model around. But the ones on the outside, you can change where they are, or you might get fed up with them cars and buy another couple of cars and change it. So, you know, if this is on the shelf in your office or something, just as a, you know, something to, when you want to take your mind off work for a couple of minutes, just have a look at it and think, well, you know, that's it. So I've gone round in various places. I've done kind of darker at the top of the roof, bits there, bits on the walls, the steps. That's just the plastic that they come. I haven't painted them. And I've just put a bit of black here and there on it, because obviously you'll have mechanics and various bits climbing up and down. They're not going to stay clean forever. Then you can come round to the workshop doors there. They're also got a little bit of black on them, because yeah, that's it. So anyway, that's where we are on this. So I'll make odd little small videos every now and again just to show you this. But a diorama is a really good way of showing off something you like these cars. I like these cars. I think the detail on them, I'm not going to dirty them up or anything like that. Just done that to the model in the background. But yeah, you can move them around, have them where you want on there, change them, you know, just whatever really. Let me go back round the side for the tyres that are on there. I've got more stickers and various bits that come with it. The kit comes with loads of things. You got a choice between Esso, Shell, BP for your fuel, and various other bits and pieces that are going to go with it. So it does give you a large variety. I've dirtied up the walls a little bit here, and I think it works very well, to just take that sharp edge off of it just looking like a card model. And I'm no expert on weathering, and you may even know that if you're good at it, but practice on bits and pieces. And also be aware of where you are, because the powder goes, you know, it could go onto the floor and you might be on a carpet and you may tread it in, and somebody else might say that you know, your weathering should be kept to where it is. So be careful of the environment that you're doing it in, because it is a fine powder. And I found that I put it into something, put it on the brush, shake it off inside that, and then bring the brush out and start, because otherwise it pings all over the place. So yeah, make yourself a nice little area in which to start the weathering. So that's where we are on that. Now, while we're on the subject of my next projects, I'm just going to move that up there out the way for a moment. Stand her up there. And the next thing I'm going to do is something that the older people that watch this will know about. It's called Micromodels. Now, these came out, I believe, in the 1940s, 1950s, that era. This one, in its original, I don't know, I don't think this is an original. I think this is a copy, but it doesn't really matter. They're the same. They were 3 shillings in old money. Yeah, I used to see these when I was a child. A lot of places, when you were on holiday, they would be on a counter in a box, all different ones. You can look these up. There's lots of people selling them on eBay. You can buy original ones, obviously, if you want an original and you just want to keep it. But I've never made one of these. But I met a guy years ago that did. He made the locomotives. Now, inside this one, there are 3 locos. He showed me a loco that he built. Now, when he had it in his hand, I thought it was something a bit like a Lone Star, which is a metal, and it looked like that, and I could have sworn it was. And then when he gave it to me, it was so light, and what it was one of these that he'd made. I don't know which one now, I can't remember, but he'd varnished it, and it just come up with a terrific shine, and that's what it looked like. Now, inside these, it tells you to cut along the dotted line, on there. It's got various bits and pieces telling you, and inside there are some kind of instructions and telling you, you know, what to do and basically why these things were around. And then you have cards, and this is it. This is a card, and then what you have to do is cut these out. Now I think because of the shape of it, it's going to be very hard to cut that out with a Stanley knife like I use, or a scalpel. I think a lot of it, just be very careful and do it with scissors. And it gives you lots of little things, like people with the connecting rods have put like tin foil around them. And it says in there that people in them days used to keep pieces of foil off of like sweet wrappers and various things like that. And they used to use that. So it gives you a little bit of history as well. So for this first loco here, that is basically the chassis, the cylinders and various other bits. And then what you do is you can glue them on. The buffers, it tells you to actually make them out of wood, so you can find some dowling, very small diameter dowling. So 2 cards for that loco. Then you've got the Duke class there, again 2 cards for that loco, and again the compound, 2 cards for that loco as well. So it's basically the chassis and then all the detail which goes on, and then you can add bits yourself to make it more realistic. Now I've seen these for years, I've never made one. I looked at them, and when you look at that, if you've not done a lot of card modelling, I haven't done a lot, but most of it is kind of kits that you just press out, and you could then just super detail it. Well, I want to have a go at this, and I'm going to do it and film it as I do it. So this is what will be coming very soon. And I'm not saying that I'm looking forward to it that much. I'm a bit daunted by the fact that these things are so small and all the rest of it. I suppose the other thing you could do, if you've got a really good quality printer, you could put that under and print that off in case you mess a piece up. And I mean, I don't know if you're infringing the copyright on that, so you don't have to thing me on that. I don't know whether there's any copyright left on these or not. I've got no idea. But, you know, for my own thing when I'm modelling, sometimes if it is something like that, I will do a copy and keep it. So if I need a replacement, I've got it. Print it off and do it that way. So anyway, this is something to look out for. Like I say, go on eBay. Micromodels, and they came out in the 1940s, from what I can read and gather. I've seen them as a small lad. I think there was a post office near where I used to live in Tunbridge Wells that had them on the counter in a box, and you go through, and there's loads of different ones. So you don't have to just look at railway things. There are buildings, famous buildings around. There's I think there's a kind of a wheel, a steam operated beam engine, various things like that. So yeah, if it's something that you know, it's reasonably cheap. I pay £6 for this, and yeah, if it gives you some fun. I don't know how good they're going to come out or how good I'm going to make it, because it's very small. I've got a very sharp pair of scissors, which I've got for the job. Anyway, just follow along and I'll show you my progress. And, you know, if I fail at it, well, you know, there you are. But have a go. It's a relatively inexpensive hobby, and you can produce something that, again, would look nice up on the shelf. So, like I say, I've always been tempted to buy one and have a go, especially when I was younger, but I think I'm glad I didn't then. I think I stand more chance of producing something this time than I did then. But anyway, keep watching, subscribe if you want to follow what I'm up to, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye now.